Hello and welcome to episode 37 of Rival Banter. I'm one of your hosts, Luke Croft. Joining me, as always, my esteemed co-host, Parson Martin. Seth, how you doing, my friend?
Did you say Parson?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, I'll take it. Yeah. Um, doing well. Doing well. I'm glad to be here. We've seen a smattering of snow over the past few days, and so I haven't been to school since last Thursday. It's been awesome.
Yeah. How much did you guys end up getting? It was like a dusting, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, that's all it takes here in this part of Virginia. But yes, not much at all, but enough to do some damage, I guess.
Hmm. What have you been doing with your days off?
Um, Playing Monster Jam, little bit of rivals here and there. I told you and Larry on the game a couple days ago. I've decided to become just a Monster Jam buff, and that's what I'm going to be. So it's cool. We're planning on going to a show here sometime soon, and yeah, the game was free on PS Plus this month, and I did not think I was gonna
Uh,
have as much fun with it as I have been. But I've just been driving the hell out of those big tired trucks. It's a lot of fun.
I love
It's a
that you
fun
finished.
mechanic.
I love that you finished Ghost of Yotei, and we're like, I guess I'm about to take on my next serious gaming endeavor.
So it's kind of like what a palate cleanser. I picked up Metroid Prime 4 the other day, and I'm like, well, I don't want to start that yet. I think that's going to be like my Christmas break game. I didn't know I was going to get this. This has been counting the weekend. We've been out longer with the snow than we had for Thanksgiving break. So didn't really know I had this big break coming, but I'm like kind of set on saving Metroid for that. So I've kind of been bouncing around. I've been playing a little Pokemon on the Switch, the new like Z to A game. I've been playing Monster Jam, and then of course like your little rivals, just dabbling in things here and there. Finish up by Warhammer game, like the first Space Marine they remastered. So I've just been playing probably too many games, but whatever. 6, 7.
6, 7. Uh, yeah, I've just gotten like way back into League, in like a big way. I kind of always have League on my second monitor watching it, but then I've been like staying up late at night playing ARAM Mayhem, which is this really cool. So you've played a little bit of League, so you kind of know how it works, right? You're buying your items and all this sort of stuff. Well,
Mhm.
in ARAM Mayhem, they add an RNG element to it where you get like 3 cards that give you buffs at different levels, and you can kind of like build your character custom through these cards. And I didn't think I was going to have as much fun with it as I am, and now it's like all I think about playing. So
Oh, it's funny how that works, right?
yeah. And I think I've decided I'm going to try to climb some in the next season of League starting next year. So
Oh, best of
um,
luck to
so
you.
so we'll see. But also, obviously, played a lot of Rivals. We'll get to that here in a little bit because this is Rival Banter. We get together every week over on well, I was gonna say over on YouTube, but we get together, we record the episode, then we post it on YouTube and on podcast services everywhere. You can find us, just search up Rival Banter. And then we also have social media, TikTok and Instagram at Rival Banter. Give us a follow there, leave us some comments on our content, and we might read and respond to one of your comments. And Seth, we've got a little follow up here, and I'm actually going to let you read this one from
Thank you.
22TK.
It warmed my heart. 22TK says the comment was definitely made with love, in reference to our conversation last week. Particularly about me being a filthy casual. He said, if I thought Seth was a filthy casual, I probably wouldn't listen to every episode. That comment definitely made me laugh out loud, though. You guys are awesome. I just think it's funny when Luke goes deep into the tournament scene lore and then asks Seth what his take is, and he's just like, it's whatever. I'm actually more in like Seth in that regard, as I don't pay much attention to tournament games. Side note: Street Fighter are absolutely shreds. I'm
Oh my
glad we're on
gosh.
the same. It sounds like we could be friends in real life.
I'm wondering if I was high every single time I looked at this comment, because I, for the life of me, could not figure out what Street Geiger was. it was it was stumping me.
I mean, I've graded enough English papers to know from that you just kind of read between the lines, context clues, Lucas.
So I might have told you this story before, Seth, but one time we had uh hold on, let me let me get this for you real quick. Uh so one time I was Jesus Christ, what's going on? Okay, here it is. So one time when I was in elementary school, I stayed home from school and I um because I wasn't feeling well, and I ended up taking some like cough medicine, and my head got a little loopy, right? Well, we had this sign that sat in front of our television, and I guess I never quite noticed exactly what it was. Um, and let's see, I'm gonna send this link to you in the show notes.
I feel like I know what picture
Yeah, I
or
think
what.
I've probably
Yeah,
told
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've I think I've told you the story, but yeah. So we had this sign in front of the TV, and I'm a little loopy on some cough medicine, and I look at this thing, and I finally see that it says Jesus. And I'm home by myself. I'm young. I'm in elementary school. I start freaking the fuck out because I thought that I could read Hebrew. I,
And
I was
probably
like,
freaking
what
out in a
is
good way,
going
right?
on?
Like, yes, this is a sign or something like you felt validated in your spirituality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was young. We're like really into church when I was a kid, and so I thought I was like reading in tongues. I thought it was a sign of the times, but yeah, that was almost the level of the epiphany that I have when you said that comment said Street Fighter and not Street
Wow.
Geiger.
Well,
So,
I'm glad I could help out, that I could elucidate a little bit. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I definitely was. I hope it came across that I was definitely just kidding about me being a filthy casual. I did see that the comment was made with love. Just had to throw that out there. But thank you so much, 22TK. We value your listen so much.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. All right, then we have Gabo, who over on Spotify commented, "Nettie's indiscriminate love of ass is the best phrase I have ever heard about this game. Thank you."
That's a
Uh,
good comment.
and thank you, Gabo. We made a little social media clip out of that did okay over there on the TikToks and stuff. Instagram and YouTube do not like you talking about anything even close to sexual, and don't push those shorts at all. So
Hmm.
but yeah, I feel like if there was a physical release of Marvel Rivals on the back of the box, it should say indiscriminate love of ass on it.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes along with the next comment too. But I mean, it's like a line, right? That's the clip. That's the tagline for the back of the box. I definitely love
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, just put that up there with a bunch of in-game screenshots of all the asses in the game, and in fact, hopefully by the time that this physical uh edition comes out, they will add Molly's comment over on TikTok, who said, "Need some steel buns for Ultron next." Can you imagine just Ultron caked up?
I can, and I
I
hope they
can,
do.
and I will.
I can, and I have now that I've read this comment. I'm glad, Molly, that you brought this to the forefront of my conscious. I Yeah, love this idea. I think there's a lot of potential there. Like as we get more, like, can you imagine like some caked up scrolls, like the green alien guys? Some I don't know, like some what are Thanos's minions called? Like the Chitari or the whoever else some of the other guys are. Like just some of those. Some like maybe like some caked up frost trolls or something like that, frost giants or whatever.
Mhm. Caked up
I can see.
spider. That was
Yeah.
we were playing the other day, and I was like, we don't get to ever see the spider that Penny pilots caked up.
Hmm. So yeah, I mean, just metal ass, human ass, alien ass. We can take it all, but
What
give
are
the people what they want to see.
what are some of your favorite like slang terms for ass? We were just talking about cake. Somebody commented about Phoenix's yams on the TikTok video. I thought that was pretty good. You've got gat, you know. You got any?
Yeah, yeah, I like yams. I feel like I've heard that referred to like for like numerous things. Like I feel like yams could be up top, down low. I
In the
feel like
middle
yams could be
somewhere?
like calf muscles or something like that. Some
Mm.
people like a strong leg. Um, I mean, I like it all, but I think cheeks I'm kind of fond of,
Mm.
like
Just
just cheek.
cheeked
I
up.
think it's just like the adolescent in me where I spend so much time among the youth. You hear somebody talk about cheeks, and you have to ask like, to which cheeks are you referring, son? Um, clapping cheeks, you know.
Mhm, mhm.
I like those, but yams, yeah, I kind of like
Yams is good.
anything in the food territory is good for me.
Yeah, yams, cake,
Like
all yeah, yeah.
hams, like somebody looks like somebody shoved two fine hams down the back of your
Is that the
pants.
ladies' man?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you guys for your comments. If you want, I was terrible about getting shorts up last week. It's been crazy at work, uh, trying to get some stuff out the door. But this week we'll get back to posting our shorts. We'll have more comments next week to respond to. But we appreciate everyone who leaves comments on our stuff. And as I always say, if you want the best chance of having your comment read, make sure you comment on either the Spotify episode or the full episode over on YouTube. All right, Seth, let's move on to our draft of the day. And today, we're nearing the end of the year. And I think it's time for us to maybe do a little bit of retrospective of where we've been. And so today, I want us to draft the top 3 best half seasons that we've had. And I've put the characters on here just to give you a little refresher of like who was added, but it doesn't have to just be about the character. It can be about other changes that were made in the game, maps that were added, balance changes, that sort of thing. So,
Mhm.
Seth, I am going to give you the first pick.
I feel like you always do, and I feel like I always reap the benefits, but I'm still gonna take them. My, I think my peak. I'm torn between two, and they're right beside each other. So I'm just gonna take a swing. I think that my number one is gonna have to be Human Torch and the Thing.
Mm.
Particularly, I think I almost immediately regret that, but we'll get there. It could go either way. Human Torch, who cares? He's kind of seen some highs, mostly lows. But the
And he was
thing
very weak
was,
when he came out too.
very weak when he came
Yeah.
out. Yeah. The thing was just so much fun from day one, and he's only continued to get better. And I think that that was early enough. We had season 0, we had 1, and then 1.5. It just felt like a solid place in the lifespan of the game. Like everybody was still playing. Not that the numbers are bad now. People want to seem to kind of make them out that way, but yeah, it was just like a really optimistic time in the game for me, I think, and it was just so much fun and exciting to see like how different he played. He's kind of a brawler like the Hulk in a lot of ways, but he just like played so differently, felt so differently, and I think that said something or kind of like gave a nice indicator of what the path is going to look like moving forward for the game.
Yeah, and we got Central Park. That's where we got the like first Blade tease as well. And
Mhm.
so, and I thought Central Park was such a cool map. I think it really kind of it ran counter to what I was expecting, at least of that map when they announced that it was coming. So, I
For
think
sure.
that's a good first pick. I am gonna steal the other one. I'm assuming you were debating between and go with the Mr. Fantastic Invisible Woman season 1.
Hmm.
Um, Midtown, I think, is one of the best maps in the game. And that's when that was added. Invisible Woman was, I think, one of the first characters that I really like wanted to focus on getting good at. And she sort of like with what you're saying with the thing, like she was a very different style strategist because her primary fire goes through things. You had games where you could put up insane damage while also doing insane healing. She had one of the most impactful ults. And obviously some nostalgia points being the first season that I really, you know, uh, focused on playing this game a lot. So season one is going to be my first pick.
Right on. Hell yeah. Pick two for me. I'm gonna go season two. Again, it was right beside Emma. I think that it's really up and down. I think if you were to go like less subjective, more objective, I think that the Emma drop was probably like a high, like an all-time high for the game. I don't know. I have zero data to back this up, but I imagine that player numbers were going through the roof because, and again, it's kind of linked to Emma, to the character drop in some ways. Because number one, she was a surprise. I don't think anybody was really expecting that kind of route going with Emma Frost. Kind of like a, I mean, she's still kind of in the forefront of the X Men series, but she's kind of a deep cut for some. She's not like, I guess, somebody's first go to when they think of the X Men. The fact that they did so much with her, like they changed her from just a regular, beautiful, rich lady into a thick crystal mommy. I think that did a lot and brought a lot of people like, "Oh, check this out." Kind of seeing what's going on with her in the game, and she's only like continued to grow and become better in the meta since her drop back in season two. I think that's some of the best like competitive meta that we've seen around
Hmm.
the season two time as well. Season like three wasn't really the best. That's where we kind of saw some growing pains. But I think that was kind of like a climax before kind of a short little break in all that positivity, all those great
Hmm.
vibes at the beginning.
Yeah, that was my the one I was debating on uh for my number one pick. So good choice there. For my next pick, I think I'm just gonna go with season five. I think uh Gambit has obviously been an insane addition to the game in terms of just changing up strategist play style. And I think giving that role a really dynamic character to play with. Um and also just the infinite number of buffs that we got in season five, making so many other characters kind of fun to play. And to the point where like we're going to talk about it later, but like we're at the point where like Penny's getting a nerf in the next patch and stuff like that. So I think season five really took the game and brought it back to what made it so fun at the start, which was just kind of like living up that power fantasy of playing as your favorite superheroes. And I feel like it's kind of recaptured that vibe.
hmm Yeah, I agree. That was in my top three as well. So I'm going to go for my three with season four, Angela. Um, that kind of started like we talked. I mentioned Emma kind of being somewhat of a deep cut, but Angela is like 100%. She's about as deep as it gets in some ways, without going just like with side characters or something like that. I think she kind of showed a lot of potential for where this game can go as well. Like taking someone that few people have ever really heard of, unless you're kind of a huge lore fan, and making her, really fun to play, really different to play. The first flying tank in any of these games that we talk about. And yeah, I think it was just kind of a fun time, kind of like an uptick after. Uh, a brief kind of not so great interlude with season three at 3.5.
Hmm. To me, it's between season 2.5 and 4.5, just because I feel like season three all around sucked. So I think I'm gonna go with 2.5 though, with Ultron, and not that Ultron's been an incredibly impactful character since his addition. I mean, I think they've still tried to figure out where exactly he fits in the lineup of strategists outside of just being kind of a third healer. But I think we got the Araco map, which I've grown fonder of since it first came out. I think it's a really well designed map, and yeah, I think the kind of flyer meta that we started to see when Ultron got added was interesting and gave some cool counterplay to the dive that we were seeing before that. But I also think that flyer meta also helped netties to realize the necessity of having um, having tanks that can deal with that flying meta. I mean, that's where when we got like the thing extra button where he can jump to people in the sky and punch them and get them out of the air. I think Angela was a direct response to like the flyer meta and things like that. Um, so yeah, I would say season 2.5 for my final pick, and then we'll just flush season 3 down the toilet and keep season 4.5 because it was okay.
Works for me.
All right. Well, let's move on, Seth, and talk about our week in Rivals. What did you get up to in game this week?
Oh, kind of had I didn't play the most rivals. I think I'm just kind of been getting ready for Rogue coming up here soon. But and just kind of like been a busy time with school and all that stuff, except for these past few days. Um, so really just been trying to play and have some fun. I've been trying to get with you and Larry as much as possible. I still have those grand goals of trying to climb, but it's just finding the time. It's probably going to get old saying that after all, too long now. But adulting, it is what it is. Really just been I've played enough to like max out all the event stuff that's been going on here lately. Like I got my Jeff vending machine pass filled out. I got all the crap out of the vending machine, raided that bitch, and then yeah, I've pretty much got all the units that I can get. I've gone to Times Square, checked that out, done all that stuff, and now just kind of waiting for what's next.
Mm. I actually played a little rank this week. Not a ton, but got some games where I carried, got some games where we went on a little winning streak. So I'm almost caught up to you with where you're at. So hoping to play a little bit more ranked as we get close to the end of this season is this Friday. So this half season is this Friday.
It's crazy to me, yeah.
Yeah. And then so I've been trying my hardest to do this fucking solo clear with Thor on Zombies Nightmare 4.
I did not know you were still spending time with that.
Oh
Really?
my gosh, man. I really just like the Wrath of Asgard nameplate that you get if you complete it. And I don't know why. I've never been like this, Seth, but my brain needs that Wrath of Asgard nameplate. Um,
That's me. It started with Destiny. It hooked me in, and it's still rolling to this day. Fortunately, I haven't had to punish myself too much with this game with that kind of because like those look cool to me, but like none of them are really like mains for me. Where I don't usually go DPS. I mean, Thor was for a while, but it hasn't really appealed to me that much. I got my Queen Slayer, and that's really the main thing that I wanted to get.
and the Queen Slayer does have the cool animation versus like the individual clears, which are just purple. But Seth, I have to confess something to you. Um, I spent some of my event currency on revives
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
zombies mode, and I don't feel bad about
Hey, it's whatever. If it makes you happy, and you're doing what you want to do, like if you did feel bad about it, that would be your sign to stop,
it. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I think you're fine with that. It's not like it's necessarily a gotcha mechanic. It's you're paying something to try to make the game a little bit easier for you. Not easier, even, but just like kind of save yourself some time in the grind. It's not like a skill reflection or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's just, do I want to spend more time grinding this out for free, or do I want to pay a few bucks? I used to do the same kind of thing with like Assassin's Creed, where I love those games. At one point, they started doing this thing where you could pay like $5 and it would automatically put all the stuff on your map, like where stuff is, instead of having to find it organically. And those games are huge, especially like at one point they just got so big that like there was no hope of ever, unless you just like make it your full-time job or your commitment, finding all this stuff. And so I was like, yeah, I really love Ghost of Yote, like the way they kind of set it up. It's very flowy and organic, and like you could go around and find stuff, just almost like you stumbled upon it, and that's cool. But when you've got as much stuff as some of these games have, you're kind of just punishing yourself unnecessarily. Like I appreciated for one having the option to do that kind of thing. So I see it
Mhm.
the same way. Some people don't like it, but some people also just think that everything should be free all the time, and we're not going to get great content if that's the case.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think I spent like $5 worth of the event currency to get those tokens, and uh, I keep getting to the final, level 20, two Wandas and stuff like that. And then you're just kind of at the mercy of RNG if you're going to get just like chain stunned on repeat by her or
Mhm.
whatever. But I don't know. I'm feeling myself coming to an end with it, regardless of the outcome, where it's just like I'm not the kind of guy who likes to do the same thing over and over and over again. But I still have a few runs left in me, and hopefully next time we're on this podcast, I will have obtained the Wrath of Asgard name card.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's what I've been doing, and then obviously just playing with you guys. I'm very close to Lord Mag and Lord Gambit at this point. I'm within 1,000 points for both of those. So
Holy shit.
yeah, yeah, dude. So I was looking at my stats. I played Gambit for like 11 and a half hours or something like that already.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I do feel like the support lordships go a little quicker than like the tank lords do.
dude, that mag one is brutal.
It took
Like,
me forever on the mag,
well, because
mainly just because of like absorbing the damage with his
yeah,
ult or
that's what I was
whatever.
gonna say.
That's a big one.
Yeah, the other ones aren't too bad. I mean, it's like damage blocking KOs, and then obviously your time played. But yeah, that absorb 10,000 damage with your ultimate is tough. So,
Mhm.
um, all right, well, let's move on to the news because we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, and we're going to start with the news everyone in the Rivals community is talking about. Rogue, she's a Vanguard. I'm pulling the trailer up for everybody. I'm gonna mute this. It's gonna be loud. I'm so sorry. Um, all right. So yeah, Rogue is a Vanguard. Much to my surprise, well, I say that maybe a month ago, much to my surprise, I think over the last month, a lot more people have been talking about her being a Vanguard. But Seth, how'd you feel when you saw that she was a Vanguard?
I mean, I wasn't terribly surprised. I think well, I always kind of considered that a possibility. I didn't really think they were going to make her a DPS. Just in general, I felt like she could be. I loved the ideas that we had about her being a strategist. And but I love what they've done with her. She's kind of another thick mommy like Emma in some ways. I do think they kind of added some on to her physically. But her kid looks just nuts. Like the fact that she can copy. Like I'm watching the part right now in the trailer where she just turned into Emma or slash Groot slash. They had like 4 or 5 panels, 6 or 7 on there, and uh, I it's nuts. My Discord started blowing up around the time that this trailer launched, and I had like kids from my esports team commenting about her kit and what it looked like and like what's going on. Like trying to dissect it and break it down. That was the first time I feel like I'd really seen them get into a drop like this, and it was just kind of cool to see. I think there's a lot of potential for her, and I'm hoping that this kind of has the same effect on the game that like Gambit had dropping. Just something's kind of really wild and different and really energetic to kind of see, really dynamic, and how it can affect the gameplay. I'm excited to see where this goes personally.
Yeah, she feels very kind of daredevil-y in her playstyle, right? Like she can just kind of run at your face. And they've just decided to do so much cool stuff with her kit. I agree. The copying thing is awesome, and I was a little worried about how this might translate because when you're stealing, individual abilities from people, I think it's a little weird. It's gonna take some time to learn what you steal from who, as well.
Mhm.
But for example, you get. I think you got like Groot walls. You got like invisibility from Psylocke. What were some of the other ones they showed? Diamond form from Emma, uh, the little like meditation from Iron Fist, things like that. So um, I imagine she is going to be a hard character to master and kind of understand the ins and out of. And I'm really curious how this is going to translate kind of visually on when you're playing against her because she does get some, like changes to her appearance. you know, they were showing like what were some of the ones that they were showing here? Yeah, so like when she absorb like I don't see what she gets when she absorbs Groot, but she gets like Thor's like Mjolnir going around him and stuff like that. So we'll see how it translates in like a 6v6 fight, but it seemed her kit seems really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I still want to learn and master Gambit. I think she's going to be difficult to master in a different way. Maybe not so much like with how kind of like tedious it can be to like manage his kit, like move to move, cooldown to cooldown, but maybe just like in terms of kind of like you said, learning what does what in terms of like your various compositions from the other, like how you interact with other teams, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So either way, I'm excited to see what's going on.
Yeah. I do want to talk about her ultimate ability real quick because it seems really interesting because I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in a hero shooter before. So her ult it shows up at the 1 minute mark in the video, but so she gets this like AoE around her where it looks like she's able to damage people while it's in it, but even more interestingly, she steals the ult charge away from opponents that are standing within a certain distance of her. And I think that's really cool. I've never seen anything like that. What do you think about that, Seth?
It's nuts. I wonder like how, because it like at face value, is it doing anything? Well, no, I guess it's not. I was gonna say like for a brief second, I was having like a senior moment thinking about like her as a support character again, but that's not the case. I I wonder like that's so wild because really to maximize it, you have to do a pretty good job of tracking ults, right? Tracking charge,
Mhm.
like who uses what when, kind of like anticipating when that's going to be the most effective in team fights. And I think that's awesome because as we've talked about before in like some earlier episodes, seems like it's been a while now though. That's a skill that like I don't particularly rate that high. It's helpful, but you also kind of just want to be able to like anticipate ult use in every fight. If like just in general, like sometimes it's unavoidable. You just have to run with it. But this kind of like incentivizes tracking
Mhm.
use from the other team. And so I think that's kind of brilliant if you think about it, because it's definitely a skill that I wouldn't assume most players are really doing like just from game to game, from fight to fight. So yeah, I'm totally down with this. I'm really intrigued by how this is going to look when we actually see her in the game later this week.
I hadn't even really thought about that angle of it of just um the game sense it's going to take to really get the most value out of that ultimate. Because you're right, like it's a lot more valuable um to ult when people are at 90, 80% versus 30 or 20%, just because the way you approach a fight when you know your ultimates are about to come up is so different, right? So if you're able to catch a team like that and prevent them from getting their ults when they think they're about to come up, that can really change the tide of a fight. It doesn't look like it drains it all that much on this video. I've played it a couple times, and I can't tell if like the strength or the Magneto is in it the whole time. I guess he does drop down to like from 90 to 80. So maybe it's like 10% reduction on an ult charge, or maybe it's something like you take so many like ultimate charge points away from them. You know how it's like 3600 energy or whatever. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays and how bad it feels if you ult and the other team doesn't really have great ult charge because uh but there's other things that she does within her ult. I think that's just the most interesting because I've never seen anything like that in a hero shooter.
Yeah.
uh we're also going to be getting her. Oh, here it is. Okay. It didn't load for a second. The Savage South rogue skin, and here's the video of it uh slaying a dinosaur. That skin is sick.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
it's a must have. It's a purchase for me for sure. It's already sold.
Yeah. Dude, I'm really excited about Rogue. And and not even necessarily just playing as her. I think she's gonna bring a flavor to the tank lineup that, I mean, Thing kind of does a little bit, but she's not like Cap where she's like going to be jump. It doesn't feel like she's going to be jumping in back lines and trying to fight people. She's more so going to try to run head on at fights. So I think playing around her is going to be fun. The team up that she gets with Gambit is interesting. She's being added to the Gambit Magneto team up. So when she has it active, she's going to deal AoE damage when she lands damage onto people, but then she's also going to heal teammates around her. So she does have a little bit of that like strategist flavor built into her kit as well.
Yeah, I'm 100% excited for this. I didn't really like. I hadn't been thinking about it too much. You know me. I kind of like to not get too worked up before I like know about something. Like know like the hard facts of the details. And this looks awesome. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm excited about the gameplay that I'm seeing, and just kind of from top to bottom. Yeah, she's a new main for me as long as she feels halfway decent to play.
All right. Well, let's jump into our next item of news. We got the season 5.5 dev vision video, and we just heard from Guang Guang in this one. I don't know if they dropped the balance changes one. Yeah, they dropped the balance changes. I just don't know if they've dropped the video for it. But so he obviously he talks about Rogue being a strategist. And talks about the different team up changes. And I think there's some interesting stuff here to talk about, Seth. So the first thing is Emma. They're doing away with the Emma Psylocke team up, and instead putting Emma into the chilling assault with Iron Fist and Luna Snow. And the ability that she gets, I think, is so cool. You get this ice wall that you can set up, and either you can like put it behind a player to kick them into it when you're in diamond form, or put it up in front of you in order to block damage. And I love abilities like that like add an extra button to your character and like add another sort of strategic element that you have to play around. And so should be some interesting stuff going on there. You've been playing a lot more Emma lately.
Yeah, I've been kind of like very spread out over the past week. I guess I could have mentioned that earlier. I've been trying to play like a little more strange, branching out. I've been trying to do some interesting new strategies with his portals.
Yeah, talk
Um,
to let's pause there for a second, Seth. Talk us through the mindset of the portals. What are you
so
attempting to achieve?
it's still like a very new science. I'm trying to, not everyone is a hit, but I've just been trying to use the portals unconventionally. I've been trying to like block or zone with the portals instead of just using them as like a fight extender. What did I do? There was a what point was it? It was one fight. I want to say it was on like a domination or something like that, and I was trying to keep them from getting to the point as quickly, and so I set up like a portal on one side and then a portal on the other side of the arena so that they could just get there one way, or at least that was the idea. I don't exactly know how well it worked, but we won that fight, so it seemed like it did the trick. It also seemed to crash some people's. I think there was a lot going on when the portals were put that close together, and so it seemed like the gameplay stuttered just a little bit, even on the PS5. So I can only imagine what some people, like middling PCs, may have been going through.
Yeah, I think that we were on Clintar. It was a domination point on Clintar. And you put these portals up, and my PlayStation just started chugging. And I was like, Seth is breaking the meta right now. He is forging new tech with Doctor Strange, because you did it again on Burning T'Challa,
That's
Uh,
what it was. Yeah, yeah.
where you did it next to the other strange portal, and so there was even more going on, and we did end up winning that fight. And I'm just fully convinced that what you're doing is you're skill checking everyone's hardware. And it's like, look, if somebody on our team is playing on a fucking potato, this is going to cost us the fight. We're banking on the other team having worse PCs than us.
Well, I think other than that, like it does kind of make some interesting plays. Like on, I want to say it was that same match, maybe a different one, but it was still Burning T'Challa, where I forget which zone it was, but it's the one where you have like the big column in the middle that breaks
Mhm.
after it takes so much damage, and yeah, it was the part where I think I set up a portal. The other team side, you've got like two kind of side rooms that converge on that little area right before you get to the point, and then there's that kind of tunnel up above where you can come from high ground. And I've tried blocking off the two larger entrances to the arena with the portal, and so they could only really come through the choke without like, or they could have maybe made it through but clumsily. So it seemed like it kind of funneled them in a certain way, and then I just kind of like flew up there and started raining hell on people in that tiny little tunnel leading in. I don't think they were ready for it. I don't. It didn't seem like they understood what was happening until the pain train came. um, yeah, it's been fun, but yeah, I've been playing him. I've been playing Emma a little bit more, and just kind of juggling like Invis and Rocket back and forth a little bit too. But it's been a lot of fun. I think that's kind of how the game's meant to be played, not just like channeling one character and playing them all the time, but kind of bouncing around. Not necessarily lord grinding, although I am definitely guilty of trying to do that too.
I, I gotta say this, man. I know that the strange portaling thing, I think so. A little bit of background behind this. Seth portaled one time, and I was like, Seth, this portal is terrible. Why is it above the point and I'm dropping onto the point versus like being able to run back into spawn to get like health from it or whatever? And I think you took personal offense to that, and that's okay, Seth. I apologize.
No, no, it's what I needed to hear. It's what I needed. Yeah, yeah.
It-
So I've been asking him to grade the
yes,
portals,
yes.
just like A to F, whatever it is. Give me a letter grade or a number. I'll take a percent too. Um, and yeah, I think they've been progressively.
Well,
Well, they were getting better. Now they're kind of like off the charts. Like I think they transcend the scale a little bit in some
yeah,
way.
yeah. They're a little
They're
hard to
harder to
grade
grade.
because I'm seeing things I've never seen before, right? There's no rubric for some of the stuff that you're doing. But I will say this in all seriousness, I have enjoyed seeing what you've been trying to do with his portals over the last like day or two at least that we've been playing, because I think we do see too much like, oh, we're just going to TP from spawn to like extend this fight. And it's like, this is such a cool ability. I wish people did more cool shit with it. And I don't know, man, if you were a streamer, you would, this would just be your thing. You would be like the strange portal guy doing all kinds of weird shit with it. So I'm here for it at this point.
I could get T-shirts made. Strange portal guy.
Yeah,
How do you read that?
I personally don't feel like I'm qualified to grade your portals anymore. You've surpassed my knowledge of
All
good
right.
TPs.
Hell yeah, I'll
Um,
take it.
all right, well, but yeah, the Emma Frost is a new team up that we're getting, and then Psylocke is moving over into the team up with Cloak and Dagger and Hawkeye. So she's going to get a shuriken that she can pass through both enemies and teammates. It'll heal teammates, damage enemies, and then it'll return health to her based off of how many people it hit when she threw it out. So I think that's a really cool Psylocke ability. And then Rogue is going to be getting added, like we said, to the Magneto Gambit team up. Anything you want to touch on from the team ups there, Seth?
No, I'm really excited about this wall with Emma now that I've been playing her a little bit more. I think that's where this whole conversation came from just now. But
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah, yeah, I think this is cool. I want to see more stuff like this. Like it's I hate that we're losing that. Like we lost the mag in that team up with Emma as the anchor. Now we're losing the Psylocke. That's just totally gone. But I think this is awesome. Like this is if it might be even better. It's definitely different than that team up in nature. So I'm excited.
All right. Next thing that was brought up in this Dev Vision video is that we're getting version 2.0 of Jeff's Winter Splash Festival and Holiday Special. So there's going to be a brand new map, Jeff Land, on December 18th. Seth, I don't really remember anything about Jeff Winter Splash 1.0 because I was just too busy grinding comp at that point to play the special modes. Um, tell me what happened in that mode. What'd you do?
It was basically Splatoon with Marvel Rivals flair. Like you pretty much, like Splatoon, you have your little paint gun, your inkling, you dive down in the ink and blah blah blah, and then you try to cover as much ground with your paint as possible. It was the
Mm.
exact same thing, basically, down to the diving, right? Like you're Jeff, so you've got Jeff's kit, and then you're just trying to squirt your water over as much of the arena as you can. You want to have more than the other team by the end. And so you've still got your ult charges. You're like still like you can try to remove people, and I think that if I remember right, maybe the ult kind of did like a large area spray as well. Yeah, it was Marvel Rivals Splatoon, yet another lifted idea. It wasn't like awesome, but it was fun to kind of dabble around with, play a few games here and there.
All right, I'll play it this time around, and I'll be the Randy Marsh of Jeff Land. All right. Um, but within this, you're also going to have three unique Jeff builds that you can play with, and
Oh.
I wonder if some of the stuff that they're doing with this is going to be carried over from zombies, like his little like spinning water things that he has and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what those unique builds we can play are. What else did they mention about? I don't think they mentioned a whole lot more about that in particular, but they did reveal some new concept art uh for the Christmas skins. This first screen, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm having a hard time telling who some of these people are. We've got Squirrel Girl. Who's that? Next to Squirrel
Which
Girl.
one?
Is that Iron
Next
Fist?
up, it looks that's where my mind's going. Yeah, but I agree. It is definitely kind of hard to tell.
And then obviously Daredevil, and then that's Bucky over on the
Yeah, with
far
the
right.
arm.
Yeah.
The,
How do you
the
feel
arm's
about
kind of the
these?
giveaway. I'm never like I think we've talked about it before with Halloween. I'm never really super into like the holiday themed skins. I'm like I have a hard time like decorating my house or like my classroom stuff like that. 'Cause I'm just like I don't know. It's fine. It's just more kind of more work that I feel like I've got to do. In this case, like it's just kind of an aesthetic thing. Like it's cool. I if I do get something festive like this, I kind of prefer something more neutral. Like if you look at the cloak and dagger over on the other image right next to Penny, like the Penny,
Mhm.
yeah, that's cool. I feel like I've got to see how this looks. Like it doesn't even look like a mech anymore. It looks like something kind of magical and
That looks
fanciful.
like a
So
golem.
yeah, yeah. But the cloak and dagger like is just it seems like another one of her skins. It's always like an Emma Frost vibe in some ways, like her original skin to the game. It just kind of it's not like this is a Christmas skin. It's kind of more like a wintry thing. So yeah, I like those. I think if I had to pick another one, it's probably the Daredevil one, just because it's got the cool, sweater thing going on. The Squirrel Girl's okay too, where she's kind of got the reindeer vibes. I just don't really dig. I don't really like the aesthetic of Christmas all that much. The trees are cool. It's just a lot of red and green. They don't really vibe together. It's not my thing.
Yeah, the three that aren't Daredevil on this screen kind of all feel very samey. I do like the penny skin. I just always am so disappointed because the penny designs are so good, but you never get to see those designs in game because she never leaves her mech. So, but I do like that design. So I think I'm going to go with that one in the Daredevil is my favorite. But I'm much more like I like the more kind of festive stuff that, when that time of year rolls around. We do decorate our house for both Halloween and Christmas, and we get real excited about doing that. So I like the skins that are a little more on the nose for these
Mhm.
events, because then when the time rolls around next year, I'll just break these skins out again. Uh, but yeah, those are cool. And then what else do we get on here? Oh, the all new mystery burger at Pim's Test Kitchen in Times Square is available on December 18th. I don't know what that means. What do you think that means, Seth?
Your guess is as good as mine, Captain. I straight up do not know.
It says eat it and you might be surprised by the results. Now, look, I made a big, swing and miss prediction about what would be happening in Times Square at the year one event. So, by saying that they were going to release Cyclops, and they didn't, obviously. But, so I'm not going to swing for the fences on this one. I imagine if you eat it, you're probably just going to get like some units or something if you visit, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind goes, if anything. But what if you ate it and Cyclops walks out and is like, "Hey, I like the burger," or something like that? So I don't know. Keep the dream alive, I guess. Or like Deadpool comes out and he's like, "You want some cheeks with that?" I don't. I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I've been disappointed by what's been going on with Times Square. Oh, did you do anything with the Psylocke event? The like gotcha thing?
No, zero stuff. It
I
helps that I don't really play Psylocke, but yeah.
I think I had like 300 like event currency left, and I was like, I'm just gonna see if I get it. And then I didn't get it, and I was like, okay, it feels as bad as I thought it would feel to like have to keep spending
Mm,
increasing amounts of money to get the same thing. Like
yeah.
I don't like it. So I'm going to keep my expectations for Pim's Test Kitchen low, because I simply can't have my heart broken again. Then we got into some season 5 balance changes, and this will be the last item on our list for the day. But we do have, I feel like we got all of the season 5.5 information in like a day, and I don't feel like that's how it's been
Yeah,
with
I
the
mean,
other
maybe there's
seasons.
more. You never know, but I'll take it. Kind of makes for some good talking points.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go through these. I'm on the first slide with the Vanguards. We got Penny Parker getting a slight nerf, a reduction in her base health from 750 to 700. With the Emma Frost team up going away, where she was the anchor, she's going to lose that 100 bonus health, but they'll give her back 50 in increased base health. So a net nerf for her. And then Thor, during his storm surge, is going to be able to change directions and move freely, which they said they took that from the battles against the zombies, which I thought was a cool little shout out, right? Like, hey, we tested this mechanic here to see how people liked it, see how it felt. Now we're going to introduce it into the main game. You've played a lot more Thor than me, Seth. Do you think that changes him a whole lot?
I mean, I would think so. So yeah, I mean, this it's good. It kind of reminds me of like Omni movement in Call of Duty or something like that. Kind of like frees things up a little bit. You're not kind of locked in one way. Yeah, I'm interested to see how this feels when we get in there. I might be jumping back into Thor a little bit more.
And then the Thing is getting some buffs as well. I think that, look, the Thing's been not that great this season. I think the nerfs to his haymaker uh impacted him a little bit more than they thought it would when they made that adjustment back in season 4.5. But so his increase stone haymaker bonus damage is going to be equal to enemies max health per hit from 8% to 10%. So he's still a tank buster. It's still good to kind of jump on the front line and start punching, but then increases the duration of the lingering anti-mobility field around Yancey Street charge from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. So just something uh, to help with grounding people and continuing to be able to punch them. But slight nerfs there on the Vanguards. Anything else you wanted to call out here?
No, no. Again, Emma. she's got this going on, but that wall I think is going to make up for
Yeah.
a lot of this. It's going to like add a lot of possibilities for how to play with her.
Hmm. I'm actually going to go to this last slide and see if it tells you what the health of that wall is. It does not, because I mean it's basically another shield for it, right? Like something that you can
Hmm.
put up to block damage. Our duelist adjustments. Blade is going to get some damage buffs to some of his abilities, and then reduction to his reduced healing when he's in his vampire state from 35 to 25. So, um, am I reading that right? Reduced bloodline awakening, reduced healing from 35 to 25. That's a buff, right? That means he receives 75% of the healing to him rather than 65.
I think so. Again,
Okay.
that's math territory. That's more your ball game than mine, but that seems about right.
Yeah, and it wouldn't make any sense for them to nerf Blade in any way because he's just not that good of a character right now. Um, Jean Grey is going to also get a little bit of a buff with her health during her ultimate, going from 400 to 500. Um, and then the Punisher is going to get a little bit more firepower. I think Adjudication is his shotgun, right? So um,
Yeah.
that's going to get a little bit more of do a little bit more damage. And then Johnny Storm getting a bevy of different buffs here, slightly reducing the projectile spread of fire cluster, so you'll be able to do more targeted damage. Increase single cast projectile damage from 5 to 5.5, and adjusted the maximum fall off from 60% at 30 meters to 60% at 20 meters. So and then blazing blast, reduce single charge speed from 3 seconds to 2.5, and then increase hit damage from 40 to 45. So he's getting some buffs there. Psylocke is getting a small nerf with her ultimate cost energy going up. Wolverine can now target walls for its landing point. I didn't realize you couldn't do that with Wolverine.
That's the last thing he needed was more cool stuff to to be able to do, but sure.
Interesting. And then Daredevil is being removed as the team up anchor in his team up, so he's going to lose the 25 bonus health that he received. Remove the team up anchored. Oh, sorry, nothing's happening with this team up. They're just taking away the 25 bonus health, which is good because he's so hard to deal with.
Yeah, he's dangerously tanky in some ways. He's kind of one of those threshold characters.
And then Wanda is getting some buffs as well. Increase the charge to Chthonian or what? How do you say that?
I
Uh,
think it's I think it's Chthonian, kind of like Cthulhu
yeah, yeah.
kind of thing.
Chthonian burst by chaos control hits from 0.08 to zero point 0.1. Increase dark seal projectile speed from 40 meters per second to 60 meters per second, and remove spell field generation delay. So that feels like a pretty big buff to her. Like that's a hard ability to hit, her like stun ability. And so increasing that by 50%, the speed of that by 50%, and removing the little animation that it has to have, I feel like she's going to be able to stun people a lot more consistently now.
Hmm.
And then increase reality erasure enemy pull speed during cast from 2.4 meters per second to 3 meters per second. That was a change that I thought we would feel a little bit more when they added the little pull, but I don't feel like I'm fucked over by it all that often.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed it that much either. In fact, I forgot it was even a thing until reading it just now.
They really want Scarlet Witch to be good in this game. I feel like every patch we get, they're buffing her in some kind of way. Is it just because like she's kind of easy to pick up, not really aim reliant?
I mean, I guess so. Sounds about right.
Then the
She's a
most
quick go-to for a lot of people, I guess.
Y-
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and she's good at like handling a lot of characters that are hard to hit too.
Hmm.
So she's kind of a good counter to high mobility characters. All right, here's the most interesting page on the whole thing, as it often tends to be, but our strategist page. Gambit is going to get a nerf on the first patch after his release, with his energy cost for Rage and Royal Flush going up. just 200. That's modest and probably needs to be more because you can charge that ult insanely fast if you're damaging people as well as healing. So
Hmm.
um uh Invisible Woman is also getting that kind of a nerf as well, with the energy cost for invisible boundary going up. And then Loki is going to increase the damage and healing ratio of Loki's doppelgangers from 80% to 90%. So I like that. Trying to bring Loki back into the meta. That feels good. And then Rocket's Ultimate is also going to take a little bit longer to charge as well. I think the game can do with less support ultimates. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, I agree 100%. But kind of bittersweet. But I do think like if those ults are a little harder to achieve, then that's going to add a little bit to the quality of fights that you see.
Yeah. All right. These are two that we're probably going to spend a little bit more time on here, Seth. So Luna Snow is getting another buff. And I like that they called it out. So Luna cools down her foes even faster and gets a brand new ability. She's never beating the allegations, is she? Love that. I love that they
Hmm.
know what we think. All right, so let's start with the new ability. So Luna can apply Idle Aura to herself, separate from Share the Stage. So the little snowflake that she has, she can have that on a teammate, but also have something on herself. And when it is active, 10% of healing to allies is converted into healing for Luna herself. And she gains a 10% healing boost and a 10% damage boost. So I imagine you'll activate Idle Aura. It'll be active for a short time, then go on cooldown. But then reduce absolute zero startup time and increase projectile speed from 60 meters per second to 80 meters per second. So her snowball is now going to go out faster. And what was interesting about this point, Seth, I don't know if you saw this. This leaked in her uh, costume trailer last week. They
Oh
had a
no. Yeah.
they had a clip of her throwing her snowball out, and everybody was like, wait a second, that animation is way faster and the snowball's moving faster. So they showed this change before announcing that it was going to happen. So that was,
Wild.
yeah. What do you think about this, Seth?
I mean, it's like probably the last thing she needs, but I do think, as good as she is, I think that Luna, until Gambit came along, was probably the hardest support to play, the kind of the hardest to learn because, at like first glance, she doesn't seem to do a lot of have a lot of healing output unless she's using her ult. But if you're using her cooldowns well and you kind of know what they do, then she's pretty unstoppable in a lot of ways, and this only kind of adds to that. So yeah, I mean, again, it kind of just goes to show that they really do want people playing her as much as possible in this meta.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see how she juggles the idle aura. And I imagine that these healing buffs that she gets stack, right? So the way that Share the Stage works is whoever has the snowflake on them receives more healing from Luna as well. So, it'll be interesting to see I imagine you're going to want to put, Share the Stage on a tank when he's super low and then like burst him up with your idle aura and stuff like that. So it'll just be interesting. I think I like this change for Luna because it adds some of that element like we were talking about with Gambit, where there's a lot more decision making in his kit, his spell rotations or whatever, not this, are not as kind of like flow charty as a lot of other strategists are. And I think this will add a little bit of that to Luna, not nearly as much, but some.
Hmm.
I don't know if that snowball needed to be any faster though. And then Ultron, this one is interesting as well. Um, so he is now going to have two drones that he can deploy, allowing support for two allies at once. And then let me read this through and see if I can't parse it because I read it a couple times before the show. Imperative Firewall now requires a target with Imperative Patch to use. After use, Ultron gains 65 bonus health. The target and nearby allies get 50 bonus health, plus the selected allies gain 20% movement speed and 10% bonus. So you will have to have one of your drones on somebody to do the little overhealth thing that he does. It'll give that overhealth to the person who has the drone on, and then he'll do like an AoE buff to the people that are around him as well as the target with the movement speed and damage. Interesting. Do you think this is enough to not have Ultron be just a triple strategist merchant?
I mean, we're just gonna have to see. I think I think it does solve one of those problems, right? Because up until now, you've had to have kind of like focus team fights around. If you do have just two healers, and Ultron's one of them, like pretty much you winning that fight is relying on how well everyone's sticking together with that drone. Having two of those, I think, kind of like doubles the possibility for that. Like maybe you're getting double the healing if you are in those kind of close knit team fights, like around a choke or something like that. But also it kind of allows you to spread out a little bit more too. So I think this will only add to him like his effectiveness in a triple support situation. But I do think that it will at least kind of like make him more viable in that two, like if you're just in a 2-2-2 or something like that. So yeah, I'm excited to see this. I've always kind of liked Ultron, but he's just not like not really a. He's kind of like a mid B tier character or something like that as far as the strategist roster goes. So I'm anxious to see this. Maybe that'll be kind of like a funnel for me to get into him a little bit more in the next few weeks.
Yeah, Ultron is interesting because he's such a niche pick, but he's niche in the way that like it has to be a very specific set of circumstances that you want to play him in. And what I'm kind of nervous about with this change is that I don't think it necessarily does enough to address what makes him strong in triple support. And so is triple support just going to get that much more kind of brutal to play against with doubling the output of uh his drones? Like, because number one, we're not seeing like, okay, is there like nerfed healing on the drones because now you can have multiple in the area? Does it stack if the kind of aura fields overlap one another? Those are some things I'm interested in. But the other thing that this doesn't do is really kind of address the amount of damage that he's able to do from the sky, which is kind of what makes him strong in triple support, is that you're not losing as much by taking a DPS off the field and putting an extra strategist on. So I think that you're right, Seth, that this is going to make him stronger and more viable in 2-2-2 comps. But I think this is just going to make triple support all that much more oppressive. So
Yeah, yeah.
we'll have to see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to Friday. I'm looking forward to these changes. I'm certainly looking forward to Rogue. I don't know, man. I feel like we're still getting a lot of insta-lock gambits out there, and I'm not just talking about me. But we haven't seen that same kind of fall off that like we have with past new characters.
No, not at all. I mean, he seems like he's in it for the long haul, and it just kind of shows how much of an impact he's had on the game as a whole. And I think they're going to keep that going with Rogue here, starting on Friday.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on the balance changes? Anything you're looking forward to the most out of these changes?
I think just as like as a new Emma player, I think I'm really looking forward to that team up, kind of like brutifying her in some ways. I'm looking forward to playing some more Ultron, definitely. Yeah, it's a great time. It's a great season to be playing the game, and I hope they keep it up.
Yeah. I'm really interested in these strategist changes. Luna is honestly kind of fallen a little bit out of the meta as of lately, and so I think this is just going to bring her back in. Um, but yeah, I'm excited about Rogue. I'm excited about season 5.5. I'm hoping that the Jeff map isn't the only new map that we're getting, because we didn't get like a comp map in season 5 because we got the 18 versus 18 map. So I'm hoping they have another like mid-season update up their sleeve with another map.
Hmm.
All right, Seth. Well, that's going to do it for us here today. What are you going to be getting up to in game this week?
I'm gonna try to at least get up to plat. It sounds like a tall order right now, but between now and Friday, I would like to try to reach plat 3. Um, we will see.
Yeah, especially if you just keep not having to go to work because there's a little bit of ice on the road.
Right, right. That's that's the. I think tomorrow is probably the last day we can push that. I'll take a delay on Thursday.
There we go. All right. Well, I think I'm going to be trying to get that Wrath of Asgard nameplate. Not going to break my back over it, but going to try. And then, yeah, I'd like to do some climbing as well. If that has to be solo queue, because Larry's with us when we're all playing together, or if we get a chance to duo queue a little bit on that, that'd be just fine with me. So.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Well, let us know your thoughts on these changes coming up. What you think about the Rogue reveal trailer? What you think about the Christmas skins? Those sorts of things. So drop those in the comments below, and we'll be sure to read some of those out in next week's episode. But until then, good luck in your games. We love you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.